Another episode of Scotty Talks Philly Sports. I'm here with my man Willie back again, right? 2 episodes off.
Yeah, thanks for the days off, Scotty.
Hell yeah, I knew I need to give you a break, man, but I had to drag you out here on a Friday evening right before the Sixers game.
Right.
So what do they call it? It's a Pheel-good Phriday with a PH. Pheel-good Phriday.
I like the sound. Right? I like the sound of that, man. Feels good.
All right, man. So what's going on with you? You had some time off. You enjoy your time off, man?
Yeah.
He's still editing. Yeah. Don't get it twisted, guys. He's putting the graphics together.
That's why I love the satire. I've been great, I subscribe to Scotty Talks, the usual.
Yeah, man. Get us to 100 subscribers already. Damn.
Woo, please.
Come on, subscribe.
So every day feels like a field day Friday.
Yeah, so per usual, man, it's Scotty here. You can find me on Twitter at Scotty Drown. You can find our podcast page at ST Philly Sports 1. That's on Twitter and Instagram. My man Willie, producer, editor, co-host, Willie Da Vinci on Twitter and Instagram. Also, if you guys need some of them cool edits, you hit them up, man, for the right price. I'm glad to have you back here, man. We're just gonna do a quick hits tonight. We got the Phillies, Flyers, Sixers. They had action over this week. Once again, we won't be touching on the Eagles too much. That's my favorite team, but I got to be fair here, man. Show the whole city love. So like I said, we had some action over this week. We got some action coming this weekend. The Phillies are taking on the Braves in a series over the weekend. And then we got the Sixers playing the Magic tonight. It'll be their first game without Ben. Huge loss. We'll get into that later. That's all. Yeah, that's a whole other mood, man, because I'm in a decent mood, coming out of this Phillies series against the Yankees. The Yankees, I think they're sitting at 9-3 after this series. They're probably the best team in the MLB right now. Definitely, the best offense that I might have ever seen on an MLB roster. Aaron Judge, unbelievable. A lot of them guys, man. I saw Voit the other night just cranked one out on who was I think it was Nola, man. He cranked one. And that's Nola, man. He had the heat on I believe it was I think it was Wednesday night. Nola was coming out there with some dirty shit, some dirty pitches, man.
I did see some of that, man.
Yeah, that doubleheader on Wednesday, man, that was nice. But we ended up splitting the doubleheader, and then we got the game yesterday. So we ended up splitting with the Yankees 2-2, which I think is pretty good. After a week off, we was dealing with that coronavirus stuff from the Marlins series. So we had a whole week off without practice, without games. But I just wanted to touch on the Phillies after these last 3 games against the Yankees. Obviously, when me and Phil recorded on Tuesday, we were still optimistic about the Phillies, but just kind of, same old, same shit as last year. The bullpen, the pitching, man, is just suspect. The bullpen's still suspect. We know that now, and it's something that we're going to have to adjust to. But I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic. Hold on.
All right.
So I'm feeling, real optimistic after this series with the Yankees. Still, the suspect bullpen, it's going to be there all season. We're not going to be able to fix that any certain way. We just got to hope that guys improve throughout the season. Hope that Spencer Howard and Alec Boehm, hopefully they get called up this weekend against the Braves. There's a to be determined as far as the pitching matchup on Sunday, I believe. Joe Girardi came out and talked about it. So we're hoping that Spencer Howard, that to be determined, because they with this tough schedule, this tough stretch this week, it's hard to find enough starting pitchers. So they might have to pull Spencer up just out of need rather than one.
Yeah. You think against the Braves, that's like a would you look at Braves like a team to do that on? You know what I mean? Like with
So yeah,
Spencer out,
that's a good
not
question,
risking
man.
a good player.
That's a good question, man. Because you know, the Braves last year were on fire. They were at the top of the division most of the year. I think the Nationals might have been below them. I think the Nationals ended up coming back and taking the division, but I could be wrong there. I think both teams made the playoffs. But either way, speaking of the Nationals and the Braves, neither of those teams have come out on fire. So anything's possible. I know the Braves are dealing with a lot of people. They're going to be missing Cole Hamels. They lost some guys in free agency last year. So, I mean, it's a good game for Spencer Howard to get his feet wet. You know what I mean? A division game. Braves are looked at as somewhat of a rival. So, yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for him. Just to, talk about that Yankee series. I mean, the good that I got out of it was that our bats can get hot and that our top two starting pitchers are legit. They are not in any sort of a funk. Wheeler came out with the heat on Wednesday earlier in the day. Nola capped off the day with some heat. They took him out in like the 6th inning of a 7-inning game, and Tommy Hunter blew the game. And and I think that's what Joe Girardi's going to learn from that situation is that, in a 7-inning game, you just might want to let Nola, stick it out. Just to get that win, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Tommy Hunter cost us that game, and that's the bullpen, man. That's what they're going to do all season. Phil pointed it out, maybe you take Nola out in the 5th, 6th inning of a 7-inning game just to preserve his arm. Because like I said, we're going to need some starting pitchers over this weekend and early next week. But I still would rather have that dub.
Yeah, I guess the Yankees, that'd be nice. I'd be like, or the Braves, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, game 1, Garrett Cole controlled the game pretty much. Arrieta started out slow. He kind of got in the groove, struck out 4 Yankees in a row right before he got relieved. So, Arrieta, not the greatest start of the season, but he was coming off 7 days, not doing any type of working out as far as pitching. Game 2, Wheeler showed that he can stay hot. He's still fuming off of that first start previously against the Marlins. The Phillies bats finally got hot in that second game of the series during the day. I think they ended up with 11 or 13 runs. It was like 11-3 at one point, and of course our bullpen comes in and blows the lead. Of course, I think they ended up getting up to like either 7 or 9 runs in that game, which is just ridiculous. The bullpen almost blew it in that game. Later that day, Nola gets to start. Like I said, showing the dirtiest pitches that he has in his arsenal, man. I mean, he was on fire, dude. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
He was up near, like, I think he had 12 or 13 strikeouts just in like 5 or 6 innings, man. It was pretty legit. Tommy Hunter comes in, gives up, I think, 2 runs and has the bases loaded. Adam Morgan comes in, saves the inning, at least gives the Phillies a shot in the last inning. Phillies, go 3 out at the top of the order in the game. So that was a rough loss. I think it was like 3-1 that game. Game 4, Eflin comes out, looks all right, starts off, typical Eflin, kind of settles in. Nick Pivetta sucks. Sucks. I can't stress that enough. There's a lot of Pivetta Philly fans. That guy sucks. I don't even want to talk about him too much. Neris came in. Hector Neris came in, and gave us a chance, and we ended up winning the game thanks to a nice clutch strikeout against Aaron Judge. That was crucial. JT starts the game. Game 4, he starts a game, first inning, 3-run shot at the beginning of the game. Phil Gosselin, man, Goose, he continues to play really good, man. So right now, I just want to take this time to reiterate what has been said throughout Philly since the beginning of the baseball season. You need to go ahead and sign JT Realmuto back. Come on. Like, it's getting ridiculous now that the season's underway, because every home run, every hit, every RBI that he gets, every base stealer that he throws out, that price is just going up. Like, it's not getting any lower by his play, because and it's funny. I'm going to mention one of my guys on Twitter, Johnny Heller. He's a statistical science major at Temple University. He also works for Philly Nation. Put real interesting stats out there on JT the other night that I caught. So JT Realmuto ranking amongst all NL catchers, so National League catchers, right? Home runs, he has 3. That's first. RBIs, he has 8. That's first. Runs scored, he has 6. That's tied for second. His WAR percentage is at .5. That's second. And he's only played 6 games. That's 15th. So think about that. He's only played, 6 games. That's 15th on the list, yet he's ranked second or first in the rest of the rankings, right? So, the Phillies are sitting at 3 and 4. I don't think they have the time or the, patience to – I know the fans definitely don't have the patience to sit here and mess around with JT Realmuto's contract. We need to get this guy signed back as soon as possible. I guarantee that his play is not going to diminish. The only thing the Phillies can pray for, and would that benefit us? No. Is that if he was to get injured. That's the only thing that's going to stop JT Realmuto. He's the best catcher in baseball for a reason, right?
I don't know why they don't sign him, man. It's crazy.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. You mentioned it to me earlier about Bryce Harper, right? So,
yeah. What
was it you were saying about that again?
I was saying how, he I saw his home run highlight. It still looks like he's being Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And I was saying shout out to Wheeler, shout out to Nola.
Right.
I was going to say, who do you think so far has been the most outgoing player?
So that's a great question, man. And just to your point, Bryce Harper, is going to be Bryce Harper. And he's just getting started, you know what I mean? Last season, the first half of the season, he was just getting acclimated. That second half of the season, he played like the NL MVP, you know what I mean? So if you could put that together for a whole season, maybe we could look at him as the NL MVP. But, Bryce Harper, I expect his play to pick up. It's easy for me to pick my least favorite player right now, and it's sad to do this. I just want to do it before I give you my best. My least favorite player on the Phillies right now is Rhys Hoskins, and it's not because of the guy that he is, because I love him as like a person. Like he's one of my favorite Phillies, you know what I mean? But he is just stinking up the place, dude. Like he does not, and it's been the last. I mean, counting this season so far, you got 7 games in. But last season he was not the Rhys Hoskins that we in Philadelphia know. He's in some type of slump. His swing looks all out of whack, man. It doesn't look right. So I do just want to send that out there for Rhys Hoskins. Please, man, we aren't against you. You know what I mean? We aren't against you, Rhys. We just want you to perform well and do your job. So,
get back in the groove.
He looks like he's in better shape. He's got the stash and the flow going on with the hair, man. Get the confidence back and let's start performing. He can be dynamic. And to be fair towards him, he also, I believe he leads the NL in walks right now. So he's getting walked a lot, which is given Bryce Harper a lot of opportunities to run, bring some runs in. For my best player so far, who I've been most impressed with, I would go with Zach Wheeler. He's came in and looked like a bona fide number 2 starting pitcher. Maybe even a number 1, you know what I mean? We might have 2 number 1s in him and Nola right now, for all we know, and from all we've seen so far. Only 2 games in. I'm not going to give it to Zach Wheeler. He's only had 2 starts so far. I'm definitely going JT, man. Didi Gregorius started off really hot. That was a nice acquisition we got from the Yankees. over the offseason. JT, I think he's just continuing to prove, his worth. Sign him, you know what I mean? He doesn't say anything, man. He really doesn't say anything. And I think if they don't end up, re-signing him, that could turn that locker room pretty upside down. Those guys really like JT as well. And who doesn't like a catcher that is covering your ass all the time? You know what I mean? He's getting these guys out at the plate. It's crazy. Strong honorable mention, Phil Gosselin, Goose. This guy, they're not giving him enough. They're not putting him in the game enough, which is weird to me because they got Kingery sitting out tonight. Neil Walker's coming in for him. You got Andrew McCutchen taking a night off. He's just going to be the DH tonight. But they're moving Jay Bruce out there. I'm just like, man, has Goose not earned a shot to get on the field yet? Like, he gets a hit every game that he plays in, I swear. Like, so honorable mention to him. That's where I'll leave the Phillies. Overall, I thought it was an impressive week going 2-2 against the Yankees. I think they're the best team in the MLB, so to split against them. Obviously, we didn't have much of a chance against Garrett Cole. He's probably the best pitcher in the MLB. We got a big matchup against the Braves coming up. Hopefully we'll see a spark, if we can bring Bohm up, get Segura out of that lineup. I don't like him in there. I think he's a weak link especially, hitting wise. He's such a weak link. He's left so many players on base this year getting out when it matters. So hopefully we see Bohm and Howard, Spencer Howard coming out of this weekend on Sunday. That would be a nice spark. Overall, I'm optimistic about the Phillies. I thought they showed enough to keep me interested. You know what I mean? Keep a segment on my show.
They just had a tough match with the Yankees. So and like you said,
man, and that in the whole weekend with the Marlins, that was kind of disappointing to say the least. To not win that series, people are just getting acclimated. It's first couple games of the season. It is what it is. And you had all that COVID stuff break out, so that was pretty sucky. So let's just give them a chance to get, settled in and get things right. Next up, man, got my Flyers. And, Will, you're going to have to break something to the whole Philly nation that we've been hiding this entire time since we started the show, man.
That's crazy because I never even thought you would do this. But I'm a Cats fan. It's all right.
It's all right. Don't be ashamed, man. You guys got your ship in recently, man.
It's just a shame because yesterday, yesterday's game, which was exciting, man. I mean, we just watching the Phillies play. Oh man, you can look at them and say they're like a champion playing team right now. You know what I'm saying? Like they could be in the finals type shit. Yeah.
And that's why I thought it was appropriate to put that out there now. We don't want to put it out there in a bad light. Say the Caps beat us yesterday and then we put it out there in a bad light and Will's just showboating on our show. So we can't have that. But after a loss to the Flyers, we can, talk about it. It's okay. So I actually didn't get to catch that game yesterday. I saw we won 3-1. I saw Moose was in the goal, and he got 16 out of 17 saves. One of the goals came on some garbage time play, from what I heard. You had Lafton with 2 goals, so 3. That's 3 goals for Lofton in this whole round robin series of games. Like I said, Elliott was clutch, showed that depth with the in the goalie, which is huge. With Carter Hart being so young, only 22 years old, you don't want him playing in every playoff game. Obviously, goalies can't do that anyways, but it's nice to have that nice veteran leadership, in the back burner, just waiting for the opportunity and to come out and play against the Caps that good. Caps, who is a team that's always good. You know what I mean? They've been good for how many years now? Ovechkin, Oshie, all of those guys.
I was hoping to go back to back, but it's looking like nah right now. And then I'm looking
Hopefully
at the
not.
Flyers 2-0. Yeah, I'm looking at the Flyers 2-0, but like you guys, they're fast, hungry, even after COVID, which is impressive. So I'm like,
Young, man.
I'm
They're
looking at them
young.
like, yeah, that's Philadelphia's best thing going on right now. You know,
Yeah,
it's pretty
seriously.
hot.
And, especially with the Simmons going down, Flyers jump to the top of my list at least. So,
Yeah.
excuse me. Damn.
You keep bringing that scar back, man.
Right. It's going to get ripped open later. So just get ready, dude. Another interesting fact I saw earlier, man, was that, Ovechkin, as good as he is, man, he has not scored a single point, no assists, no goal this entire season against the Flyers, which is huge because,
Oh,
he's
wow.
a Flyer killer, man. Ovechkin, he's an everybody killer, but he has not scored. He's
I
not
didn't
recorded
even
a
know that.
single point, against the Flyers this season. Which I think that speaks to the, who's in goal and that Flyer defensive line. Those guys. The thing about the Flyers, man, they're so versatile. They're so deep. So, a guy like Raffle can't compete. He gets hurt. You bring in Joel Farabee, and it's seamless against top teams. That's who we're playing amongst right now. The top four seeds in the East. And so we got the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow,
Yeah, it's a good
Saturday.
matchup.
And if we beat them, we're going to get the number 1 seed, which it's pretty interesting in its own thing, because I was reading on the Philly Inquirer today, that since 2006, no Eastern Conference number 1 seed has made it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Whoa.
Interesting, right? And I would have never guessed that, right? So if we beat the Tampa Bay Lightning on Saturday, we will overcome and take that number 1 seed. We were sitting at the 4th seed at the beginning of the round robin play. So, Vigneault, he said I expect him to try to get the win tomorrow, although we don't need it, and it's not a huge deal if we lose. He was quoted earlier this week, he's saying how he wants to get some guys in there that haven't played as much, Ghost, Friedman. He just wants to get these guys in the game, get them some minutes, get some chemistry brewing. And I expect him to do that, but at the same time, he doesn't seem like the coach that's just going to, concede a win to another team. I think we're going to go
That's
out
what
there
I'm saying.
and
Risk it.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to go out there and compete and go for that number 1 seed. But we're going to see what we got at the same time, you know what I mean?
It's like, because I wouldn't take it easy on Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay.
No. They're the best right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, because, and for me, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, if anything, like, maybe the games after, but
yeah,
I really feel like you guys are very hungry. I feel like he might just maybe put him third, quarter.
Yeah.
Just like when everything settles down.
Because that's the thing, when you're playing teams like this, it's kind of like the Yankees and, even like the Lakers. Wow, I just saw some crazy lightning over here. But whenever you got these marquee matchups, you're playing the Lakers if you're the Sixers, or you're playing the Yankees if you're the Phillies, you got to take advantage of these moments and really test your team and find out what they're about. You know what I mean? Yeah. So while I think he will try to build some chemistry with this game, it doesn't mean a whole lot aside from seeding. I think he's going to go for it and try to get this win. The Flyers are on such a hot streak. Why mess it up anyways? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, man. 2-0 sounded really good.
It was just interesting, to see that stat of, basically 2006, that's 14 years in a row that – the Eastern Conference number 1 seed has not made the Stanley Cup Finals. So it's like, is that a curse? Do we need any more curses in Philadelphia? Like
Philadelphia, man. It's like, what happened, Benjamin Franklin? Did you sign the deal?
Dude, somebody else got to sell their soul, man. We need some more rings around here, man.
Exactly,
but the Flyers, man. I'm really excited. I get excited each game that goes by and they win. The more I think they have a realistic shot at winning the Stanley Cup, man. And if they could do that on this year, I don't care if it's a COVID, asterisk season. Who cares? We want the Flyers to get that Stanley Cup championship, man. So I'm gonna keep everybody that listens to my podcast updated with the Flyers. I'm gonna try to involve them more in the show. As I said previously, I'm not the most knowledgeable in the Flyers. I'm not some Flyers expert. Not a hockey expert, period. But I will show my passion, and I do have a passion for some Flyers hockey. So we're going to start incorporating that more and more. The more I watch, the more I'll learn. So it's an ongoing process. But you can look forward to more Flyers talk as the playoffs get deeper, man.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, man. You know, I know you like some hockey, man. You're a soccer guy. The hockey's pretty similar to soccer, dude. You're actually the one that got me like.
Love it.
You and Darius are actually the ones that got me like hip to hockey, you know, and how cool it is, man. It's actually really fun to watch.
It started with the NHL games,
right?
You know, playing on the game.
Seriously, man. So we're just gonna cap off the show, right? This is gonna be a quick episode, man. The heartbreaking news, right? It's something new every week. I feel like, you know, last week it was Doug Peterson with COVID. The week before that, it feels like, you know, Marquise Goodwin opting out, and then before it, Brandon Brooks injured for season. So it's always something, right? Then last week with all the Marlins COVID stuff after just playing Philly.
Oh yeah, dude.
So it's something every week, man. It's every week. We got Ben Simmons, man. He goes out in that game against who were they playing? I forgot.
The Wizards.
It was so detrimental. The Wizards, dude. And just like usual, struggling with the team that they shouldn't struggle with. And, it ends up – I won't say that cost us Ben Simmons, but he probably had to play a little harder than what he should have had to play. So he's out indefinitely with a subluxation of his left patella, which that is just fancy for a dislocated kneecap. He's looking at, I've heard indefinitely. I've heard 4 to 6 weeks. Day-to-day is what they started out with. That's not day-to-day, that's for sure. He's going to miss the first round of the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know how it made you feel. I immediately saw it, and it wasn't as bad as when Carson Wentz tore his ACL. Of course it wasn't, because the Sixers weren't looking that hot anyways. But – you know, it kind of was that kind of competitive shift to where, you know, when the Sixers play, I'm going to still have my passion and, like, I want them to win, you know what I mean? But as far as
looking at the odds.
Yeah, like, my optimism has gone out the window, dude. Like,
Shoot,
you know, with Ben Simmons, I did view us as a top 3 in the Eastern Conference, you know, as far as teams.
Yeah.
Even no matter what the seeding and records were, no matter what, I would have viewed us as that. But now, no Ben Simmons, no facilitator, best defender, you know.
And we were already – I swear, he was the one, dude. Man. He was on it this season.
I mean, wow.
That's what hurts, bro.
But, and I agree, man. He was before this bubble play, he was looking like the defensive player of the year, you know. He started out a little shaky in the bubble as far as defensively. But, yeah, it's a huge blow. You know, you face a team like the Heat in the first round. They got guys like Jimmy Butler. Excuse me. Jimmy Butler, you know, is eliminated by Ben Simmons as a defender. He's not doing the things that he would normally do. So now, you know, while we still do have great perimeter defenders in Josh Richardson and Matisse Thybulle, now we're going to have to take one of those guys and put him on Jimmy Butler, where they're not as good a defender as Ben. And 2, you're taking a defender away from another spot on the floor that could guard somebody else. So it's just going to go down the line. You know, the lineups were already getting mixed up anyways with, Al Horford leaving the starting lineup. So now it's like I'm interested. I actually haven't got a chance to look up the starting lineup for tonight. I'm praying that they don't slide Al Horford back in there, man. I do not want to see him in the starting lineup. Yeah. I don't care what they have to do. I would put Matisse in there, Thybulle. Move Tobias down to the 4, put Matisse in at the 3, and Shake at the 1, Josh Richardson at the 2, and roll with it, man. You got Joel at the 5. I do not want Al Horford and Joel Embiid on the floor at the same time. That is a disaster waiting to happen because Al Horford can't slide his feet. If he's not guarding the center, he can't guard a trash can. You know what I mean? Like, trash can ain't moving. Neither is Al Horford, yo. Like, I'm telling you, man, the more I watch Al Horford play, the more he just pisses me off. The more the front office pisses me off.
He doesn't look like he knows what's going on, bro.
Yeah, and it's so oblivious. I feel like it's such like a sabotaging thing for him to come from the Celtics where he was still like held highly as like a veteran, like smart, good defensive player and comes to the Sixers and just is garbage, man. He looks like an old man. He looks like he needs to retire, dude.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe
or at least sit at the back of the bench or something. Like, I don't want him in the game, dude. He's not even active. Like, that was his whole thing. Like, staying active on the defensive end, being in like being able to guard people like Embiid. How do you go from, playing good defense on Embiid to not being able to guard guys like, who was it from the Pacers? Or, even the Wizards, like a Thomas Bryant. Like, these guys are nobodies. Like, they shouldn't be cooking. Yeah. So
I'm glad we got the win, but
still, same, man.
Barely.
So, what it comes down to now, I mean, obviously we were already going through an adjustment period. Moving Ben to the 4, having Shake in the starting lineup. Now we're transitioning into another adjustment period when we didn't even have the first adjustment conquered. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, depending who they start tonight, which, strong feeling says Al Horford just because he's a veteran, and it would kind of diminish his confidence maybe if he wasn't the one put in. But at the same time, I don't want to see that. But, most likely, and welcome to stagnant offense again, you know what I mean, with Al Horford in the lineup.
It's kind of like no
one game
choice
back,
anyways, man.
Yeah, I know. And at the end of the day, he is a veteran. I do like Matisse more just because he's active, he's young, he's always in the passing lanes. He's willing to take gambles. I just like that type of defense in the game at all times. But I mean, now we're just looking, big picture basically. Screw these play-in games. I almost look at it, like don't risk Joel Embiid too much. You know what I mean? Like, you can't afford it. Like, we lose him, it's a wrap. I mean, it might already be a wrap anyways. Yesterday I was convinced that like, oh, this season's over. First round exit. But we can pretend. Right. We can pretend. Well, no, I even got as deep as like, oh wow, did this Ben Simmons injury just save Brett Brown's job? That can't be the case. It can't be. It literally can't be the case. Like, if we lose first round, he needs to be gone regardless. If we lose second round, he needs to be gone. But, if we are able to get in there and beat a team like Miami or Boston without Ben Simmons, Brett Brown will keep his job for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and if we do, like, dude, I'm going to keep praying.
Hopefully it's like a mid-season. Like, you never know. But and God bless Brett Brown, man. Like, I think he's a good dude. And I think he is, like, a good coach. Overall, but I think his voice has just played out in the Sixers locker room, and we discussed that last episode. I ain't even gonna get into Brett Brown too deep. But so now I mean, big picture, you're looking at like, who would you rather play in the first round without Ben Simmons? So pretty much we're looking at the options of Boston or Miami. There's an outside chance it could be Indiana. Miami would have to take like a big dip as far as like these next couple games. We're one game back from Indiana, which means we're one game back from playing the Miami Heat. Yeah. So do you sit in that 6th spot, and just kind of wait out and play the Celtics, who I think now that we lost Ben Simmons is no longer a favorable matchup. Their wings are just too good. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, and then, of course, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart out there. So you look at those, that was 5 guys I just named off of that are in their rotation that are – I don't want to call Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart elite, but they're all guys that can score and they're all guys that can defend. So
they're a good team.
Yeah, they're a good team, period. And losing Ben Simmons, that just takes one of those defenders away, man, that could guard a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum. So that worries me against them. Like I said about Jimmy Butler, the good thing with the Heat is that they don't have as much star power, I would say, as the Celtics. They got Bam Adebayo, which Joel Embiid kind of – I think he can take care of Bam Adebayo. I think that would be like a non-factor. Jimmy Butler is going to be the killer in that series now that Ben Simmons is out. And while I like that matchup more, that still worries me with Jimmy Butler, going against a Matisse Thybulle or even a Josh Richardson who, he was basically traded straight up for, which, that gives Josh a little bit of fuel, but Josh has not looked great during this bubble play. And even through the second half of the season hasn't looked really good. He's a good defender, takes a little too many gambles, similar to Matisse. But these two young guys, having to guard Jimmy Butler, the veteran guy who's been to the playoffs before, played, grueling series before. That's sketchy to me, man. I would definitely prefer Ben Simmons to be there and just basically just cancel Jimmy Butler out, and then he's no longer a factor. We'll deal with the rest of the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Miami can shoot.
I think
they're
it's better.
A really good shooting team, but yeah, I agree. The Celtics, they got too much firepower for my liking in the first round now, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's not a great matchup either way, but definitely don't want to see them in the first round now. I do think that Ben could come back in the second round of the playoffs, depending how long the first round takes. If it goes 6 or 7 games or if they're all just quick 4 or 5 game series. We may or may not see him in the second round, at the beginning at least. So, I mean, my honest opinion about that, as far as like the first round without Ben Simmons, if I'm being like brutally honest, like I don't think that we'll beat either of those teams. But I feel like I just had like a moment of just,
me too.
Depression,
It's
like set
outside.
through my body. I felt it like go through my body, bro. Like depression, pain.
Like why? Cursed is what it is.
But we'll be right there rooting for them. They'll be hobbling on one leg.
We'll see what's good tonight.
Right, exactly. I'm looking forward to watching them, man. And what I'm hoping is that Joel Embiid, can just go in like an MVP type of tear and just control this one. Just win one series for us by yourself or with the help of Tobias. Tobias has been playing really well. With Ben gone, that we're going to rely on him a lot more. Definitely going to need consistent play out of Shake Milton. Ben not being there as that ball handler, that's huge for Shake Milton now because he's going to have the whole, backcourt to himself, basically ball handling duties. I know they like to stick Josh Richardson back at the point guard. I hate that, man. I don't like him running our offense. I'd actually prefer Neto to run the offense over Josh Richardson. I know a lot of people don't like Neto, but he's a positive in the stat sheet for the most part.
I think
turnovers.
He's nice, man.
He doesn't take shots. He's
underrated.
He doesn't take shots, so he doesn't take bad shots, which that's a lot of the problem.
Exactly.
Bad shots, you know what I mean? So the fact that he's like a pass-first guy is good. Right, exactly. So, I like Neto, we're going to need him down the stretch now, now that Ben's gone. People didn't like him getting a lot of minutes before. Well, wait until Ben Simmons is gone. You're going to really see how many minutes Neto's getting, man. Holy shit.
Thanks, man.
That's a thing, and I hate to say that like we deserve it as a fan base, but all these years that this whole fan base, all the media people talking about trading, Ben Simmons or trade Joel Embiid, trade this, trade that. Well, now you get to see what the team's like without Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? You get to see it firsthand. Right. And when it's miserable to watch, because, man, I remember right before the coronavirus breakout happened, the whole pandemic shut the world down.
Yeah.
We didn't have Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons, man, and that shit was miserable to watch. I mean, luckily we got to see Shake Milton break out of his shell and turn into the player that he is now. But I mean, to see Tobias Harris be on his own out there is miserable. Like, and nothing against Tobias Harris. Nobody deserves to be on their own, but everybody's gonna see, man. Ben Simmons, he handles all the ball handling responsibilities. He handles all the the facilitating, passing, starting the fast break, defensive assignments, rebounding. He does it all. People get tired of him not shooting threes, but that's not what the NBA is all about, man. It's about more than that. Man, I'm getting some intense thunder.
Yo, it's getting crazy over here.
Right?
Too,
I see your lights flashing and stuff, dude. Like, I'm like, man, my lights flickered a little bit too, dude.
Man,
but
making it look like I live in the house of Fight Club and shit.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But that's all I got for today. I just want to close out the show, just with a few notes. Man, my armpits is wet. Holy.
Dang, bro. You was thinking today. You was thinking.
Pain. But nah, I just wanted to close it out. The Ben Simmons injury is like, it's so typical to happen to us as a Philly sports fan base. Injuries every single season, in all the four major sports. It doesn't matter what sport, you know what I mean? The Eagles are already going into the season without Brandon Brooks, like we talked about earlier. It's not the end of the world, though. We do have, some success going on here in Philadelphia. The Phillies, you can remain optimistic. We got some big bats on the team. We got a solid 2 starting pitchers. Suspect bullpen, suspect relievers and stuff. But you can remain optimistic. It's only a 60-game season. Just survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yo, I just got news. I think the game's postponed. One game. I don't know if it's I doubt it's for the Sixers, but maybe for the Phillies.
It's probably the Phillies, yeah. Yeah, I guarantee it.
Damn, son. Suffering.
Yeah, suffering,
depression.
Pain. So everybody go watch the Sixers game, you know what I mean? Enjoy that Ben Simmons-less team. Yeah, pain.
Oh, man.
Remain patient, Will. Remain patient. But, the highlight of this episode has to be, don't lose hope. The Flyers are still in town. I know that doesn't mean much to you, Will, but it means a lot to us Philly guys that love the Flyers, the 4 for 4s. But, don't hold that against my mans. He's been a captain for a long time. I ain't holding it against you, bro.
I know.
Nah, you'll be all right, man. They'll respect it, man. That's one thing about Philly. No Philly respects real. So just be authentic, real, and we'll be all right, man. But
hey, man.
Like I said, the highlight of the show, Flyers. They are truly Stanley Cup contenders, man. So get on that bright orange and that black and ride it out, dude. I can't wait for the game tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
be a good
I'll
test,
be in tune too.
I'll watch as much Flyers hockey as I can these next couple weeks, man. But remember, subscribe.
Now.
Get us to 100 subscribers, man. We just want 100, man. And then we'll go for 200, right? We're just going up.
We're not asking for much.
Right. It doesn't take but a second, like 5-6 seconds, Go remember, go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, STPhillySports1, Scotty Drowned, Willie Da Vinci. We're out, Philly. Stand up this weekend. Peace. Your teams need the support. Let's go. All right, Willie.
Let's go. All right, brother, man.